And you can see that some of these startups, they're generating at least $5 million and they have under 50 people. And they only have usually around 20 people, and they're generating on average about $3 million per employee.
Welcome to Gen AI Talks.
Thank you. I'm Jeremiah Aouyang. I'm one of the general partners at Blitzscaling Ventures. I lead the AI investments in early stage generative AI startups and agentic startups. I also host an event in Silicon Valley called Llama Lounge. And that's for AI founders, VCs, and corporate executives who are leading the AI charge.
So I'm in love with Llama Lounge. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
So tell me a little about just like how you founded it, what was the origin story, and what are you seeing today in those kind of communal sessions?
Certainly. So I started Llama Lounge back in spring 2023, way over 2 years old. And I could see that this movement was on the rise, and I wanted to start my own event. And so I wanted to come up with a really clever name that people would remember and it was catchy. And thus, Llama Lounge was birthed. And at some of the early events, I noticed that founders that are building the AI apps that you know today, and I said, you know what, let's turn this into a demo event. So I launched a Google form, people would register, they'd applied, I bring signs, I'd have their names printed out on the company name, and it turned into a demo event. So we had maybe 50 to 100 people in some of those first events in this small pizza place called Sunset Squares in Mid-Mission. Now, today, these events have blossomed quite a bit. The average event is around 300 to 400 AI founders. It's been hosted at Amazon and SAP and Zoom and Stanford, and it's been talked about in the Atlantic, the New Yorker, TechCrunch. Like it's just really blown up, and it's like a premier event. So it's really a paradise for AI founders and those corporate executives and investors. It's the ecosystem of the actual leaders.
The name, I gotta get a t-shirt.
Llama Lounge.
Llama Lounge. That t-shirt's probably super cool. Can you speak a little bit like what you see now and how like that typical founder is showing up and telling their story versus back maybe in early 2023?
So there's this movement of lean AI startups, and there's a leaderboard. Go do a Perplexity search on that. And you can see that some of these startups, they're generating at least $5 million, and they have under 50 people. And they only have usually around 20 people, and they're generating on average about $3 million per employee. $3 million per employee. We've never seen that. So the average SaaS company generates around $200K annual revenue per employee. That's just average. And some of the top 10 SaaS companies like Adobe, Salesforce, Zoom, they're generating about $1 million. But these generative AI native startups, only 20 people, 40 people, they're generating up to $3 million per employee.
What is something, let's challenge people a little bit here.
Sure.
What is something that your peers are missing about this moment that you will just shed a little light on?
So here's the thing. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Sam. How long do you think a technical moat lasts in the AI space? Years, months, weeks, or days?
Days.
Days, yeah. So I was just a keynote here at the Gen AI Summit here in Santa Clara. That's where we are today. And I had the opening keynote, and I polled the room. It was a couple hundred people. And the average response was weeks or days. It wasn't months or years. And it's builders in the room. It's CEOs of startups there. So what is an enduring moat? The number one thing that we look for is viral effects. Does the product organically spread? Is there word of mouth? Is there product-led growth? Maybe there's a distribution strategy. And this means that your cost of sales and advertising and marketing are very low. Exactly. And so it also means people love the product because they're inviting others. The second thing we look for is called network effects. Now, it's different than viral effects, the first one. A network effect means that the value increases for every new user or new company, if you're B2B, that joins, the value increases for everybody else. Let's take a telephone. If you had a telephone and only one person could talk to you, just two of us, it's not that valuable. But if there's 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 people on that telephone network, then the value increases, not just for you and I, but for everybody else on the network. So the point I'm trying to make is a technical moat is about this thick. It's not very thick, and it's not going to last. In the end, everything works out okay because usually I get access to the deal later. Of course, the terms, the valuations have gone higher. But I'm more excited about the deals I get access to, and I have access to now because I have a spirit of being grateful for what you have. Yeah. And so we are invested in 8 amazing AI startups, and there's more coming. So I'm feeling very optimistic.
Definitely. I share that same mindset. I'm learning all the time, and even from those losses or those misses,
Missed opportunities, but learning moments.
Yes. A missed opportunity is a learning opportunity. And with the last question, I do want to get into the big bet. So if you had to take one big bet, and I know there's all kind of stuff out there. People will say you can't see what's going to happen 2 years from now, let alone 5, 10. But this is a free zone where you could just essentially come up with something to share.
Yeah.
No one's going to watch it later and be like, hey, he was wrong or right. So just in general, what's your big bet for where this is all going?
Yes, I would be betting, and we are betting, and we have bet on the next frontier models. So large language models are the model du jour, and we know they're useful at pattern matching and language translation and coding translation and predicting what humans are going to say. Large language model predicts what the language will be, but can you predict what's going to happen in the physical world? And that lends to robotics. So those are 2 areas that I'm looking at next. Of course, I'm looking for, again, those viral effects and network effects. So it's likely to be software in those cases. So that's where I will be thinking on, like, this is the frontier.
This has been amazing, Jeremiah.
Thanks,
I
Sam.
really appreciate your mind. I can see why you're such at the front of this line, because you're brilliant.
Thank you.
Next time, we're going to go a little bit longer, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Big ideas, real tools, bold moves. That's what Gen AI Talks is all about. Don't miss what's next. Subscribe and explore more in our Gen AI community.